Okay, let's start with Vahe. Vahe, go ahead.
Hey, Andy.
Vahe, how you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you. Hey, I thought I'd just ask you a quick sort of historical question. Does Trenton lean Chiefs? Were you a Chiefs fan growing up? And how did that 1985 camp go? How long did you stick? And what's your memory of that experience?
Trenton, Missouri, 1,000% Kansas City Chiefs. My parents used to take me down to the training camp at William Jewell in 1985 when I was lucky enough to have a choice between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Kansas City Chiefs. I obviously chose the Chiefs to come to training camp. And back then they used to cut every Monday after preseason games. And so every Monday you're holding your breakfast tray, hoping the Turk wouldn't get you and make eye contact with you at breakfast. But it was up until I made it to the last cut. I know that was the year they cut back, but they had a bunch of good receivers: Carlos Carson, Stephon Page, Henry Marshall, a bunch of guys that were really good players, and I was very fortunate just to get the tryout.
Did you enjoy the experience, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, it's like now. It was great back then. It's certainly a pleasure to be part of the Chiefs organization now, but I've been a Chiefs guy. I used to have a Super Bowl champion whenever they won it. In 1969, I got a sweatshirt, and a buddy, we were playing kill the guy with the ball, and a buddy ripped my Chiefs sweatshirt from the Super Bowl championship, and I ran home crying. So that's my memory from the 69 world champions back in the good old days.
Let's go to Darren. Darren, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Hill, thank you very much for joining us today, and hope you and your family are doing well. Wanted to ask you, obviously, the NFL, the owners, they approved a couple of measures today, but also they tabled the 4th and 15 discussion, and amid talk that a lot of coaches and teams felt that would kind of eliminate kickoff going down the way. What is your stance on that, and how do you and what do you think about the fact that they tabled at least this discussion for the 4th and 15 change?
Well, that's certainly a question for Andy Reid and Dave Toub, in the sense that I'm sure the reason they tabled it because it's such a wide-ranging variety of what people think about it. But I saw what Coach Reid said, and I will stick with what Coach Reid said. I think that we got guys that can make the play either way. As a special teams guy, you like to keep it in there.
Let's go to BJ Kissel. Go ahead, BJ.
Hey, Coach, appreciate your time. I just joining a new staff with new people. I know it's just kind of a basic question, but what's it been like for you just getting acclimated to, obviously, to your fellow coaches and to the players you're going to be coaching as soon as you guys are able to get together?
Well, I was there, BJ, in the very first part of March, and so the Super Bowl win was still very fresh in the building. And the positive mojo and the positive vibes from all the Chiefs, not just the coaches, but all the personnel in the entire building, was something that really was phenomenal for me, and certainly a breath of fresh air, and something that we can, if you can keep that chemistry going and all the positive vibes going, it's really special.
Let's go to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. Welcome to Kansas City. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Matt.
You and Dave Toub go back a long ways. I'm just interested in just, how's that friendship been for you over the years? What's it meant to you? And do you have any good Dave Toub stories from back in your old days?
Well, I'm in my basement right now, and Dave Toub, before he got hired by Andy Reid in Philadelphia, was finishing out my basement. And if you ask about half the people in Columbia, Missouri, if you have a house addition or a basement finish, Dave Toub was probably doing that the time he was here. But yeah, Dave and I have kept in great touch. When he was lucky enough to get into the NFL with Coach Reid back in Philadelphia. I didn't ever go out to Philadelphia, but when he got hired at Chicago Bears back early in the 2000s, I went up several times to visit him and all their other coaches, because I was coaching some special teams at the time, but also mostly wide receiver, but different positions. So I would go with the Bears, and then I've been very fortunate the last couple of years when he's been with the Chiefs in Kansas City. I recruit Kansas City for the Missouri Tigers back then, and I would stop by practice when this time of year, actually, after Memorial Day, when they were in phase 3 of OTAs, and I had a chance to go by a practice or two the last couple of years we had always Jeremy Macklin and Chase Daniel and Mitch Morris and some guys. And so it was very fortunate to get in there and see them. And that's been, our relationship's been pretty much the same the entire time.
Let's go to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you taking your time to chat with us here. Obviously, it's a fascinating time or an interesting time, but like when you got two new punters coming in here right now with Newsome and Townsend, what's your evaluation of them so far from what you've seen of the tape that they've been able to send you guys from their workouts?
Really, there's not much. Both those guys had great college careers, and with not being on the field at all during the OTAs this part of May and June, we know it's going to be decided in the fall. And we go to fall camp and the preseason games, those guys will be head-to-head and get equal opportunity. But they both have had great college careers, and we feel like both guys have a legitimate shot to be the punter for the Chiefs.
Okay, let's go to Nick Jacobs. I believe that's you, Nick, at KSHB. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Andy, for you, how would you describe yourself as a coach? And then on top of it, what's the biggest lesson you've learned in your coaching career?
Nick, I'd like to think that I'm detailed, player-oriented coach that, even though I'm getting older and, have, a few gray hairs in my head, but I think that I'm a player's guy for sure. I feel like that the biggest lesson I've learned is it's really about the players, and it used to be about recruiting in the college game, and now to the NFL, it's really about the guys that you have on the field. And with the group of guys we have coming back in Kansas City, it's sure special to be a part of that.
Okay, let's go to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach.
Lebo.
How you doing, buddy?
Great.
Congratulations, number one.
Thank you.
First, how was Coach Tobe's work in your basement? Everything still standing?
So far, so good.
Not bad. Hey, you did a lot of offensive work when you were at Mizzou and just became a special teams coordinator recently. What's that learning curve like been for you in special teams? I know you guys do a lot of stuff early on, especially in college coaching because of the number of coaches, but what's it been like for you to learn this new stuff?
Yeah. I was really fortunate to be involved, like with Coach Pinkel. Everybody had a special team. So I was really focused on the punt team for like 15 years. And I was also involved with kickoff return with Larry Smith and Gary Pinkel. And I've been involved with a lot of special teams over time. And in the last 2 years, I was just special teams only. So the biggest transition really is going to be the rule changes and how you deal with in the gunners going out of bounds, and certainly the kickoff rules have changed with the setting of the guys up front. So just really, to me, the adjustment is going to be the rule changes and trying to, the evaluation of talent as you get into fall camp.
Let's go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Coach. Dave mentioned
Sam.
something. Can you hear me? Dave mentioned
good.
we talked to him last week that in the conversation about you getting this job, he said you're going to have to do a lot of the BS work. I'm just wondering what still persuaded you to want to do this.
The Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, and the fact that, again, we are Chiefs fans. My daughter got married last Friday night, so we're done with that, which is great. And her fiance, now her husband, is a Chiefs season ticket holder. So we're Chiefs all the way around. And I had some opportunities to stay at Mizzou outside the coaching realm here, but it was such a great opportunity. I felt like that, I've talked about trying to get into the NFL for a few years. And although this is as he called it, a lower level position, and I'll be doing some stuff that I've had guys do stuff for me in the last couple of years. But the truth is, it's such a great opportunity to work with Andy Reid and Dave Tobe and, Eric Bieniemy and Steve Spagnuolo. Those guys are just special people and special coaches. And we got number 15. So let's go to work.
All right, guys, we got two hands up left. So let's go with Blair first, and we'll close out with Vahe. Go ahead, Blair.
Eddie, congratulations, and especially on Friday night. That's terrific, the wedding. Hey,
Thanks,
I think you've answered this in bits and pieces, but I just want to generally ask you what the appeal is of the NFL level versus the college level.
Well, I can't tell you. When it came out, I was in Kansas City for 3 or 4 days. kind of going to work. And then it came out that I was, hired by the Chiefs on a Friday afternoon, and I was driving back to Columbia from 3:30 in the afternoon until about midnight. I had my Missouri phone and I had my personal phone, and I answered phone calls and text messages and up until midnight. And it's just this, growing up a Chiefs fan, growing up around the state of Missouri, and having a chance to work with not only the Super Bowl champion, but Andy Reid and the kind of person he is. And Dave Toub is a friend of mine at the top level of the profession. I just felt like it was something we could not pass up, and we talked it over as a family. When Coach Reid called me and offered me the job, we had some real tears and some great clapping in our house. And so we're excited to be a part of what has gone on, and hopefully I can add some small piece to next year's season.
Okay, Vahe, go ahead and close us out.
Hey, Andy, kind of a two-parter. One is you had some experience at Arrowhead before, and I just wonder what you remember most about that night in 2007. And the other thing is, too, just it's been most of 30 of the last 40 years or something you've been at Missouri. How difficult, strange is it to just go to a new locale and change your employer?
Well, I'll answer the 2007 question. It was, I would say if people ask me my greatest memory of being a coach at Missouri or even playing at Missouri would be that game against the team to the west. That but we knew whoever won that game was going to be ranked number one and have a chance to play for the national championship. So it's very special with a special group of coaches and players at that time at Mizzou. It's a great memory, obviously, and we were fortunate enough to be, my family, my daughter and my son, we were fortunate enough to be at the AFC Championship game this year when they held up the Lamar Hunt Trophy. And usually we leave out early, even the World Series games, we try to leave like midway through the ninth inning to beat the traffic. We wanted to see Clark Hunt raise up the trophy that night in Arrowhead. So it's pretty special. And I think that, it's unique that I was very fortunate to live and be in a place for one spot for a long time at Mizzou. And it's been very good for my family to do that. And I think that, it's pretty easy to move on when there's a different focus on the draft, different focus on the players, trying to learn the NFL rules and also try to get caught up on the teams we're playing. Dave Toub has great knowledge of the Los Angeles Chargers and the Houston Texans and the teams we're playing early, and I'm trying to get caught up doing that. So I've been pretty busy. And even though I'm working from home, my heart's over there in Kansas City. I'm looking forward to get to going in the fall.
Coach Hill, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time. Hopefully we get to see you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. I sure appreciate your time.
Thank you.